So this was not the day I stopped becoming a TNA wrestling fan, but this was the turning point, pun intended. So let's talk about how we got here. January 4th, 2010. It was a glorious day. AJ Styles was world champion. Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff just became part of TNA wrestling. And it was an exciting time as for the first time ever, TNA Impact will not only go live, but they will go live at the same time as WWE on Monday night. Meanwhile, you had Hulk Hogan, the most recognizable face and name in the history of wrestling, making his debut on TNA Impact Wrestling, saying that a change is coming. This is a game changer. We're about to lift up TNA Wrestling to new heights. And I was excited, like, bro, switching back and forth between channels, seeing the new arrivals of Jeff Hardy coming back, Ric Flair making his debut, the NWO seeming to reform again. I mean, it was an exciting time. It really felt like a revolution was on its way. And then you end the night off on Impact with AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And that was the last that we would actually be excited, or I would be excited as a TNA fan, because it went all downhill from here. I mean, where do we start? Let's talk about Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff getting rid of the six-sided ring. Yes, the thing that made TNA different, distinct from everyone else. The six-sided ring. They said, no, I know that makes you different, it makes you special, but we're going to get rid of that, brother. This is the major leagues. We got to change things up. Oh, we should have known then we were in trouble. We should have knew then that we were in trouble. I mean, you had Bubba the Love Sponge coming around. I don't even know who that was. And taking the spot of Jerry Borash and the other guys getting TV time. Like, what the hell? You had Sean Morley, formerly known as Val Venus, getting a win over Christopher Daniels, bro. A TNA original, a guy that helped make TNA what it is today. A true veteran in the sport. And you have Val Venus, bro, balding head and all, go over Christopher Daniels, dog. Like, what? From that point, a lot of people turned on TNA. But no. Wait, there's more. Then you had, oh my God, you had them redo the Montreal Screwjob. It only took them a couple weeks. Hogan, Bischoff, Russo, something about when them three get together, they have to screw over the fans. They did it at Starrcade 99. Hell, they did it at Halloween Havoc 99. Did at Bash at the Beach 2000. They did that Finger Poke of Doom. Like, it's something about, even though Russo wasn't around during that time, but he probably would have did something like that because they don't get wrestling and why people want to watch. They redid the Montreal Screwjob in TNA. Why? You had Kurt Angle in a championship match with AJ Styles to where he gets screwed. Hulk Hogan comes out, gets spit on by Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle talking about, I'll go back to WWE. And a lot of fans were like, good, go back, please. Get away from this dumpster fire that's fitting to happen. Like, who was this for? Who was it for? It could have been for the casual fan, because the casual fan gonna look at that and be like, what? Kurt Angle's going back to WWE? I'm going to watch it. It can't be for the hardcore fan because we know it's not a shoot. It's not real. So who is it for? It's like, I can't believe 13 years later, they're still doing the Montreal Screwjob. It's like these guys have no fresh new ideas outside of 97. Let's reform the NWO. Let's redo the Montreal Screwjob. It's like, bro, what? But yeah, you couldn't redo trying to make a star like Stone Cold or like The Rock. Why didn't you do that as well? Since you want to go back to 97. And then you have AJ Styles, who is beloved. He is the face of TNA. When people think of TNA, they think of AJ Styles. When people think of AJ Styles, they think of TNA. He is your world heavyweight champion who we've been saying finally, after 4 years of being a mid-carder as well as being a goddamn lackey for ex-WWE talent, and then you turn him heel. They turned AJ Styles heel with Ric Flair, who also was beloved and is beloved. It's like, what are you doing? And what makes it worse is they turn AJ Styles into Ric Flair. They put an earring in his ear. They then put blonde streaks in his hair. They updated his robe. It's like, this is AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. Why do we need to turn him into Ric Flair? It's like they don't like. It's like Hulk Hogan and Bischoff never watched the product. But wait, there's more. Then you have Abyss, who's supposed to be the Monster Abyss. Again, the Monster Abyss. And they make him a goddamn 8-year-old. They make him Eugene with a mask. And what makes it... And what's even crazier is Abyss, who's going after AJ Styles for the world title. They have Hulk Hogan. It is so stupid. They have Hulk Hogan tell Abyss, in order to truly be the best, in order to truly have all the power, I want you to take my ring, brother. Take my WWE Hall of Fame ring, brother. This is where the power lies, brother. I'm like, shoot me in the head, please. Just get it over with. Just shoot me in the head. It's like, it's like, how, it's like, there's no way these guys were in wrestling for over 40 years. There's no way. You big up the other company by using their Hall of Fame ring to somehow enhance your own talent? How? It's like, what the fuck? And then these geniuses decide, even though we have not established ourselves going live on the nights we usually have Impact on Thursday nights, let's switch it to Monday nights and go live during the biggest, highest period of WWE, which we all know is between January and March to April. Why? Because it's WrestleMania season. It's legit WrestleMania season. But no, we're going to go live on Monday nights and we're going to somehow, no. And of course they fail. And not only do they do that, they get Ric Flair out of retirement, which I'm probably sure they didn't have to really tuck his coat too much to get him to do that, because it's Ric Flair. He went and then one promo where he had, I'll die in his ring. Like, he meant that. It's like, no, Flair, you had a great send-off with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24, bro. Why are you ruining that by having a dumbass tag match with Hulk Hogan, who is always going to beat you? It doesn't matter the situation. That Hulk Hogan has never in his life put over Ric Flair. And it's like, it don't matter if it's 1992, 1995, 1996, 1999, 2002, 2010. He refused to ever put Ric Flair over. And so what do? We continue to have Russo finishes, Dusty finishes, and somehow they're supposed to get you to want to watch the product. And then when you have someone like D'Angelo Dinero, who is hot, who people are engaged with, who has the look, has the interest, has a theme, has the wrestling ability. He's not the greatest wrestler of all time, but he's solid as hell in the ring. What do? You have him lose to AJ Styles only a week later to have RVD, who not only came in, but got beat by Sting, who turned heel, who went back to being the Crow gimmick from, again, 97. You have that guy who got his ass whooped by Sting to beat AJ Styles, who at that particular point was the longest reigning TNA champion of all time. Did you catch all that? That was the turning point for me, is when AJ Styles, who, even though I did not like his heel character because he didn't believe it, the people didn't believe it, it wasn't him, but they still try to do something with AJ and make him the focal point, with creating fortune with him and Beer Money and Kaz and Desmond Wolfe and with Ric Flair. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. Then instead of advertising a dream match with AJ Styles and RVD, you do it on a random Monday night, no build, no rhyme or reason, just cause, and do RVD AJ Styles for the World Championship. And RVD only being in the company a month beats your longest reigning champion of all time in AJ Styles. And according to reports, AJ was not too happy, and I can't blame him. Because how could you be? You could have built this to a pay-per-view, built it to Slammiversary, one of your big 3 pay-per-views, but no. Because they don't know how to build the pay-per-views. All their big-time moments always happen on Monday Night Nitro with Hogan and Bischoff. They don't know how to build to a pay-per-view. And when they did, Hulk Hogan, the egomaniac, had to screw over Sting, screw over Bret Hart. Like, they don't. That's besides the point. But that was the turning point. RVD beating AJ Styles for the world title. Once again, it's a dream match that all of us always wanted to see, but they ruined it for me because it didn't give me the ability to truly build anticipation, build intrigue for RVD on the chase to get the world title. Like, there was none of that. And then you have the summertime to where they bring back ECW because ECW feel like we haven't got a proper send-off, so we want one more time to say goodbye to the fans. Like, you didn't get that 5 years ago at ECW One Night Stand. Like, you didn't get it 4 years ago with the second One Night Stand. What are you talking about? So they hog the spotlight from the young guys or from the TNA originals and give them an actual pay-per-view. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Who you gonna bring back next? NWA? Does Ricky Morton and goddamn Magnum TA want another run too? It's like, hot damn. So ECW gets his own pay-per-view, taking time away from the guys that actually helped build the company. And then you have these guys beat guys like AJ Styles. You have them feud with the TNA originals and Fortune and have them beat Fortune because Fortune somehow are the heels, even though ECW. This is all 2010, y'all. I'm still in 2010. So by the time we get to the fall, RVD was your world champion. However, he is no longer your world champion. Who beat him for the world title? No one. He vacated the title due to contract issues, having too many dates that he's already done. So you had to give up the title. Instead of putting someone over, they decide we're going to have a bitch pretend like he killed RVD, legitimately killed RVD with the spiked 2x4. Yes, we're going to pretend that happened. And it's like, it's like everything that you should not do is what they did. So then we get to Bound for Glory, the biggest show of the year, to where RVD, who wrongfully lost his title and vacated it, doesn't even get a proper rematch for it. He has to fight for a number one contendership to actually get it somehow. You got Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle, Mr. Anderson in the main event of Bound for Glory. 10-10-10. The bitch has been talking about 10-10-10 for the past months. It's about 10-10-10. Great marketing, by the way. But it's just like, okay, whatever. And so now they're teasing someone's going to turn. Who's going to turn? And the one person who you would think should have turned, can't turn, won't turn, of course turns in Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, who a year earlier was outselling John Cena in merch sales. That Jeff Hardy. Beloved Jeff Hardy. They turned him heel and put the title on him. Okay, I said, all right, bro, you got it. You got it, bro. And because of how much I love Jeff Hardy, I decided to give Jeff Hardy a chance. Let's see what happens here. And it was decent. It was fine. I didn't mind the run of the Antichrist of professional wrestling and Jeff Hardy. I thought it was new. It was different. They actually decided to do something new and different. The only issue is it still had to revolve around Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff because, of course, it did. And they do the story of Hogan and Bischoff actually taking the company away from Dixie, which made no sense because she signed a contract under false pretenses, which is illegal. But somehow they were able to uphold it to where Dixie Carter lost the company to Hogan and Bischoff, which, God, Lord, Jesus. And then we get to Sting versus Jeff Hardy. A dream match also, which I don't believe we would have saw at this point. Victory Road 2011 for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. To where we had all of a 2-minute main event. If you take away the entrances and the huggabaloo before that, it was all of about 5 seconds. Why? Because Jeff Hardy came out there looking like a fish out of water. Sting came out there. And then before the match starts, Jeff Hardy want to play with his shirt, trying to tease if he's going to throw it in the crowd. Eric Bischoff comes out there, gives a handshake to both guys. And as soon as the bell rings, Scorpion Death Drop to Jeff Hardy by Sting. 1, 2, 3. Why? Because Jeff Hardy was off his rocker. He was off the narcotica. Yes, you're a world champion. And instead of finding a way to negate Jeff Hardy from coming out there, he still did. And it was at this point to where even Sting, at the end of the night, the TNA fans turned on everything, turned on Sting, Jeff Hardy, TNA, even in one of the most infamous memes and GIFs videos is Sting. When people said, this is bullshit, Sting is like, I agree. Christian Sting says, I agree. Because it was bullshit. And it was at this particular point where I no longer cared about TNA. A year-long build of dumb things after dumb things after dumb things. And I was done. And you gotta realize, like, TNA, it was never perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect wrestling show or organization or company. But TNA was an alternative to the big machine in WWE. And all it became was just a watered down WWE and even worse, watered down WCW. That's what it became. And I know after this, they did, the Aces and Eights, and they did the whole Bobby Roode in the Selfish era. I did not care. I was done. The last thing I truly watched was AJ Styles win the world title because, newsflash, I loved AJ Styles. And he should have been the focal point of that company all along. But no, we got to make other guys, ex-WWE guys, the focal point of the company. Screw the guys that helped build it. Screw the guys like Samoa Joe, who like just became non-existent. The tag division, the X division, they ruined how do you ruin the X division? They ruined the X division. It's like, how do you ruin? It's the easiest thing to book, but because Hogan and Bischoff did not understand it, did not get it, instead of trying to understand it, trying to get it, they just said, we're going to kill it. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Don't that sound like someone else in another company with the initials VKM? And I don't mean Voodoo Kin Mafia. Again, TNA was not perfect. But it was a great place to watch great wrestling, new stars, new people with different personalities, not cookie cutter things that we would see in another company. But they ruined that. And I no longer was a TNA fan after that. Victory Road 2011 is the day it killed my love for TNA. It killed my fandom of TNA. But give me your story. Give me the day that you no longer became a TNA fan, or if you're still a TNA fan and endured all the BS that they have done over the years. I can only imagine. Comment below, like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things are the things. Welcome to the high, bitch. Your hardcore casual fan, Hayes Arcade. And if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.